Hello, welcome to Comenculo Chanel. After it was discontinued around 2018, the SBGX115 117 was followed up with the Grand Seiko, not Seiko Plus Grand Seiko, SBGX335 337 in black and blue dial. These had some changes, like a larger 43.7mm case, more traditional numerals on the bezel, and the crown moved down to 4 o'clock. While also discontinued, the SBGX 335 337 models are a lot easier to find than the 115 117, and I've seen them go for the $3-$4,500 price range. These never really did it for me, personally, and I find the predecessor to be superior in about every way. Though there isn't currently a 9F quartz diver in the Grand Seiko lineup, I'd be remiss to at least not shout out the SBGB243 and SBGB245. As part of the GS Sport collection, these are really well sized at 40mm wide, 11.8mm thick, have 200 m of water resistance, and come in just at the $3,000 mark for a 9F movement. So, while not quartz divers, these are solid and tough value offerings by Grand Seiko. The SBGX115 117 measures 42.7mm wide and 13.2mm thick, with a lug-to-lug height of 49.6mm, according to my calipers. I think the broadest knit to be picked here has to do with the water resistance only being 200 m and not 300 m. The loom is much stronger when in complete darkness. While we're on the topic of gripes, I may as well address a more subjective issue that some have had. The bezel design here is polarizing, and I recall several people recoiling at the tapered, Art Deco style, numerals. I think too often people have a knee-jerk instinct to be scared off by anything too distinct or stylized, but I think they look great and they go a long way in making these not look like every other generic dive watch out there. What isn't subjective about the unidirectional bezel is that the tactile feeling when rotating it is absolutely perfect and so satisfying. Speaking of perfect, just look at how long that minute's hand is. It reaches out right to the edge with the chapter ring while the hour hand perfectly aligns with the indices at 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. The diamond cut hour and minutes hands are done in brushed titanium and finished with loom. The seconds hand, however, is done in steel, which is not something you'll see in inferior quartz pieces, as they simply do not have the torque to push it forward. The 9F movement uses a twin-pulse motor, which moves the seconds hand twice per second for total precision and accuracy while being undetectable to the naked eye. With a pretty rare no-date window, both the SBGX115 and SBGX117 have clean and symmetrical dials. This being a pre-2017 piece, the dial has the double, Seiko, and Grand Seiko stamping, which I always found charming in its clunky redundancy. Fortunately, that's as far as it goes for extraneous dial aspects, and it is rounded out by equally high quality and lumped applied indices. All this, along with the double-sided AR coating, makes for a dial that is as legible as it gets. The brushed 3-link bracelet is simple and straightforward enough, with a stamped GS logo on the clasp. The distinctive ratcheted dive extension allows for one of the easiest to operate micro-adjustment systems I've ever used. Highly secure, it only slides out when the clasp is open and the mechanism does not allow it to push back in. It's not the most elegant looking system when extended, but the ease of use and comfort more than makes up for this. I've used it on and off for 6 years now, and it works just as well today as it did the first time I used it. On the enclosed steel caseback you'll see the engraved Grand Seiko Lion logo, beneath which is the 9F61 movement. Way more mainstream now than in 2015. Thermocompensated 9F quartz is accurate to 10 seconds per year, which is how accurate typical quartz movements are in a month. Each 9F61 movement is assembled by a single watchmaker at the Grand Seiko Shinshu studio, and I am fairly certain this is still the case to this day for new production movements. Other than a fresh battery every now and then, the 9F only needs servicing every 50 years. That means this one will require a servicing sometime around 2065.